Hey everyone, today we're talking about the top areas to live in Baltimore. So if you're coming from out of the area, if you're looking to familiarize yourself with Greater Baltimore and wondering where you might want to live in different areas to check out, today we're going to talk about that. Now, I am going to really stick to Baltimore County area, probably for the best. I'm probably not your best resource for Baltimore City. My wife and I do go in there on occasion. We've got some friends that live down there, and we do go down there to socialize and hang out Inner Harbor and surrounding areas down there. But it's not an area I'm in on a daily basis or anything like that. So the county is something that I'm much more familiar with. So today we're going to go over a handful of areas, top areas just that I've noticed based on kind of where clients of mine have gone over the years, and areas that I've been in a lot over the years, just kind of showing homes and working and doing things like that, that are family friendly, that are nice, and just kind of some of the best that Baltimore County has to offer. Now, one of the things I love about Baltimore County is it is massive. So it stretches from the southwest of the city and all the way up to the PA line. So you've got all different kinds of housing. It's so diverse in regards to housing. So you've got some like traditional Baltimore row homes, like in areas like Catonsville, 21227, so like Halethorpe, Arbutus area. You still got row homes, and then you've got your newer, like the built in the last 30 to 40 years, more of what you would typically think of a townhome, condos, single families. And then as you stretch up into the northern part of Baltimore, you've got a lot of country, a lot of space. So if you're looking for that, if you don't really want to be in a crowded kind of environment, Baltimore County is going to definitely have space and more country living for you as well. So it's got so much to offer, so many different options, which is something that I love about it. Couple things that I do want to keep you or just kind of bring to your attention. So Baltimore has kind of a very unique thing called ground rent. It has been phased out over the last several years, but it's something that you're still going to see in the area. So if you're looking at homes, if you're looking to purchase, ground rent is something you always want to ask about. Ask the realtor or whoever you're talking to about what that is, if it's applicable to that property. So what it is you don't own the dirt, you only own the structure, and you pay basically a leasehold for that dirt to someone every year. And it's nothing crazy. It's like 120, 150 bucks a year, but that's something you want to be aware of, to ask about, and to kind of know ahead of time going into that. A lot of Baltimore County is labeled as Baltimore if you're looking at homes online. So you're going to see that in different parts of the county. So that's something you always want to look at too. I always really try to pay attention to the zip code, because it'll say Baltimore and your mind might go to the city or whatever. But it's definitely county. So you want to pay attention to the zip code, pay attention to the area where you're at on the map, because a lot of times it's not going to say the town or the city that it's actually in within Baltimore County. A lot of it's just blanketed and labeled Baltimore. So that's something you want to pay attention to as well. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we talk about all things living here in the great state of Maryland. So if you're looking for a resource, if you're looking for information on what it's like to live, eat, and sleep here in Maryland, make sure you hit subscribe and hit the like button, where we come out weekly with videos just about living here in the area. So feel free to reach out if you ever have any questions about moving to the area. If you're looking to buy or move to the area, we love taking your calls and helping out in any way possible. So let's jump right into the video. All right, everyone. So today we're talking about the top areas to live in Baltimore. So the first area I want to start with, and I'm going to be bunching some of these together just because some of them are smaller and they're kind of right next to each other. So just a heads up on that. But the first area, or a couple areas I want to talk about, is the Lutherville, Timonium, and then just north of that, the Cockeysville area. So this is, if you're looking kind of at the Beltway on a map, you're kind of right at the top of the Beltway. And this is a great area. I love this area because of how central it is. So you're super close. You're right there at 83, especially Lutherville, Timonium. You're right on the Beltway. And then 83 is heading north-south, which is going to cut you into the city and take you anywhere you need to go in the city parts of Baltimore. So this is a great area if you're looking for kind of more suburban vibe. So it's going to be about 65-ish% single-family homes, detached homes. And then the rest is going to be a mixture of townhomes and condos. So you're going to see mainly detached homes in these areas, especially as you get to Cockeysville. So Cockeysville is going to be a little more spread out, not as compact and not as busy as Lutherville and Timonium area. So if you're kind of looking for that, if you really want to be central, because when I say central, I mean you're kind of at the top of that beltway, so then you can go, when you head northeast, you're heading over to 95, which cuts you up to Hartford County towards Philly. And then you can cut south into the city as well. And then you can go over to, Dundalk, Essex, any of those areas, depending on where you're going for work and all that kind of stuff. And then heading southwest is going to take you also down towards 95 and 70. So if you need to get down to the southwest part of Baltimore County, you're kind of halfway there already in that location. And then also 70 is going to cut you out if you're going to Howard County or any other parts of central Maryland. 95, 295 down towards the bottom part of the Beltway is going to cut you across into all of central Maryland. So depending on kind of where you're going, it's super central. And that's kind of one of the favorite parts that I love about these areas. So Lutherville and Timonium are pretty small. Lutherville is only about 2.5 square miles. Timonium is about 5.5 square miles. So these areas are kind of smaller, but if you're looking for the accessibility that I mentioned as far as being on the Beltway for commuting, this is an area that you definitely want to check out. Cockeysville is going to be bigger, so you're going to see more housing and opportunity there, but that is a little further north up 83, not too far. But that's an area that's just a little further north, so it's gonna add a few minutes to your drive if you're like heading into the city or something like that. Timonium, I really like. It reminds me, because I live in Howard County, Ellicott City, right on the Baltimore County line. But Timonium reminds me of Columbia. It's got a lot of shopping. It's got a lot of retail. It's going to have everything you need. So it's going to be a little busier than Cockeysville. But if you're looking for that accessibility, if you're looking to have that stuff close and kind of right in your backyard, in your neck of the woods, this is an area that you definitely want to check out. So you're going to have a lot of restaurants, a lot of shopping. I know we have friends up there that go to the My Gym. So if you've got kids, that you got classes and open gyms and stuff like that from the age of 6 weeks up to 10 years old. So they've just got a whole lot of things to do. They've got all that stuff very close by. So that's something that I would certainly check out if you're looking for that kind of setup. And then just north in Cockeysville, one of my favorite parts of Cockeysville is the Beaver Dam Quarry. So this is an area where you can go. They've got a swim club. So it's a big quarry. They've got swings, they've got a diving board. So this is a great area to get outdoors, with the family, with the kids, and that's kind of one of my favorite parts about that area. So I would definitely check that out. My in-laws are in a different part of Baltimore County called Woodstock. There's a quarry back there, and it's tiny compared to this one. So when I went there, it was no comparison. So the other one that I was used to was kind of buried in the woods. You had to hike, a mile or so to it. So this quarry is super cool. It's much more accessible. It's a big area where you can swim all summer long. So that's something I would definitely check out if you've got kids, if you're looking for something to do, especially during the warmer months. Next, I want to mention Ellicott City and Columbia, and specifically Ellicott City, as it's just a little closer to Baltimore. So Baltimore County and Howard County, which is where Ellicott City and Columbia are separated by the Patapsco River. So it is super close, although it's not Baltimore County. It really identifies with Baltimore. So if you're anywhere in Howard County, specifically Ellicott City and Columbia, it's all Baltimore. You're going to notice the Ravens fans. You're going to notice the O's fans. All over the place. And it's kind of funny, you go one county south there is Montgomery County. It changes so quickly. It's much more identifying with DC. All of a sudden you see a ton more people commuting into DC for work. And it's crazy how quickly that changes just with one county. And then you've got all the DC fans down there as well. But Howard County is very, very Baltimore. And Ellicott City, its accessibility to Baltimore is awesome, which is one thing that I love about it. So we do live on the eastern side of Ellicott City. So some of Ellicott City does not have as good of access as maybe the area that we're in. But my wife, we have a 9-month-old. She gave birth to him at St. Agnes Hospital, which is in Baltimore City. It's just over the city line. So if you're going down 95, Caton Avenue just kind of separates Baltimore County from Baltimore City. We were there in 15 minutes flat with no traffic, which thank God there wasn't any when she went into labor. So the accessibility to Baltimore is huge from this area, and it's something that I love because Howard County, as you will find out, if you are looking for top-notch schools in Maryland, Howard County is where you want to be. So I've had several clients come from out of the area where they're reload through their job, and the liaisons that they're provided through their work, people who are assisting them with that move, are pushing them to Howard County. So if you have a child, especially if you are in need of a special education or special needs program, Howard County's got top-notch schools and top-notch programs for that, specifically for that. So if you're looking for that, I would definitely look into those areas. Howard County does get more expensive in regards to housing, but it definitely has those schools if you're looking for that. And its accessibility to Baltimore is very comparable to a lot of Baltimore County areas in Baltimore County. So I can get from my house, from my doorstep, to the Inner Harbor if there's no traffic, which in Baltimore, one of the things I love for the most part, the traffic is contained to kind of rush hour. So if I'm heading down there, I can get to the Inner Harbor in about 22 minutes. So so 70 to the Beltway, down 695 to 95, and you're to 395, and then all of a sudden you're passing M&T Stadium. And you're passing Camden Yards right there, and you're right there on Light Street in the Inner Harbor. So it's super, super quick. One of the things I love about Howard County, and specifically Ellicott City for that accessibility. Columbia is also very, it's just kind of south of Ellicott City, but you have a ton of people who are working in the Baltimore area that live in Columbia because of the schools, because it's drive time. You're only about 25 minutes from the city because you're right there next to 95. So Columbia is a great area that you want to check out too if you're looking for to have a lot nearby. So Columbia's got a mall. It's got all the shopping. It's got all the retail. For the most part, it's the hub of Howard County. So it's going to have all that kind of stuff that you're looking for. It does have a city tax. So that's something you want to be careful of and just be aware of within Columbia if you're going to consider that area. It comes out to roughly, depending on the price point you're in, but detached homes, you're going to see about $1,400 to $1,800 a year. And that's going to go to upkeep and maintenance of the area. So they've got a ton of different hiking trails. They've got a ton of different outdoor activities. They've got classes. They've got pools and memberships that they offer through that. So you're going to see all that. If you're looking for that kind of environment, Columbia is going to be your spot. Ellicott City is going to be a little bit closer if you are going to be commuting into Baltimore, but you do want to kind of be a little distanced from the city or even the county. That's going to provide great opportunity for you to be close and just kind of have that accessibility as well. All right, so the next couple areas I want to mention are Sparks, Hunt Valley, and Phoenix. So if you want to be in the greater Baltimore area and you're looking for a little more space, a little more country, these are areas that you definitely should check out. So they're going to be north of the areas that I first mentioned to you as far as Lutherville, Timonium, and Cockeysville. If you head up north a little more on 83, you're going to basically be in these kind of areas. Very nice, very spread out. You're going to see, some farmland. You're going to have that vibe. So if that's something you're looking for, I would definitely check those areas out. The homes you're going to notice, most of them are on at least an acre. So I would expect that. You're not going to see a lot of public water and sewer. So you're going to see a lot of well and septic out there. So if that's something you're looking for, if that's something you're okay with, I would definitely identify, check out that area and see if it's something that may be a good fit for you. In this area, you're still only about probably 25, 30 minutes max to Baltimore City. So it still has that accessibility because you are pretty close to 83. So they're not like too far spread out. So you are in those areas, you shouldn't be more than a few miles from 83, which is going to cut you straight south into the Beltway and kind of get you anywhere Baltimore, basically. So that's kind of a nice thing about that area. You do get that spread out feel, but you're still not that far removed. And now if you head on 83 north and go up, you're going to see nothing but country up there. You're going to run into the PA state line, and it's just very, very country. So anything north of that area is just going to get more and more spaced out and more country. All right, and final areas I want to mention are going to be Parkville, Perry Hall, and Nottingham. So, and these areas are zip codes 21234 and 21236. So, these areas specifically, there are a lot of other ones in Baltimore as well, but these ones especially I've noticed over the years are, for the most part, called Baltimore within the address. So this is something where if you're looking at the address, you may not even know kind of which town it's in. So I would definitely pay attention to those zip codes and just kind of look a little further in to see, where exactly is this. So these areas specifically are on the northeast part of the Beltway. So they're going to put you very close to 95, Route 1, which are both going to cut you down into the city. 95 is going to take you straight up to Philly. By the way, the Beltway has 95 cut straight through it. So you've got a south west part to 95, and then you've got a northeast part. And inside that Beltway is where the Baltimore's two tolls are going to be. So you're going to have the Harbor Tunnel, and then you're going to have Fort McHenry Highway, which I think if you're having to go from all the way from the northeast part down to the southwest part, you're looking at about 35-ish minutes or so. So I just have my Easy Pass, and I just kind of use that, and it really cuts down on time. So that's something that you may have to look into if you're going to be using, that kind of commute, fairly often. It's definitely worth getting that. Maryland has transitioned all their tolls. It's all electronic now, so there's no more booths. So if you don't have an Easy Pass, they're just going to snap a picture of your plate, and you're going to get something in the mail. So it's kind of worth getting, just so you can get a little bit of that discount, and you don't have to mess with paying any more than you have to. Now, these areas, of all the areas that I've mentioned, it's going to be the most affordable. So you're still going to see a lot of single family homes, in the threes, into the low fours. You're going to have a lot of options at that price point. But I will say you're not going to see as many bigger homes. So if you have a bigger family, if you're looking for the large colonial, you're not going to have as many options in these specific areas. You're going to see a lot more Cape Cod, split levels, ranchers and things like that. So depending on what you're looking for, you just kind of keep that in mind as well. Now, if you're in these areas and you head just kind of north towards 95 on the Beltway, you head over to Dundalk. Quick little tip. Jimmy's is the best crabs, the best seafood that we've had in the Baltimore area, and we've tried a lot. So if you Google it, it's called Jimmy's Famous Seafood. I would definitely check that out. Just a quick little tip if you're from out of the area, looking for some good Maryland crabs, that's an area that I would definitely check out. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something new today. If you ever have any questions, feel free to comment below or reach out anytime, and we'll see you at the next video.